everybody. Alex Witcpalek here with the inaugural session of Return-to-Basics for distribution and manufacturing companies. I am super thrilled for today's guest. I couldn't be more happy to call him a friend, and he actually started as my boss. And what a great story, great human, and it is such a pleasure to have Kevin McGirl, the president and founder of Salesi, on with us today. Kevin?
Thanks, Alex. Yeah, I didn't realize this was your first gig, so I'm the guinea pig then. That's what you're telling me here. Yeah. So.
Well, you might be, Kev. Yeah, you might be.
Yeah, sounds like I am. But thanks. No, great to join you, Alex. And as you said, we've known each other for a long time, and we've been colleagues, friends over that period. And I've been really excited to see you develop and start your own business and do so well in your first year. So it's been amazing to see that happening.
I know I certainly couldn't be where I'm at without you and everything I've learned from you, and still pick up the phone and call you when I run into a tough spot, and you walk me through it. So
that free consulting is always there, Alex. You know, on speed dial for you.
I have a sneaky suspicion that my time to pay some way is coming. So yeah. Well, hey, Kev. So it's a little bit of cheating because I know you so well, and I've known you for so long. But for the rest of the world, they don't, right? And so maybe kick it off with a back of the baseball card stats, a little bit of history on you. I think that'd be helpful for the world.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can tell from the accent, I'm Brit. For those that don't know me, but I'm currently living in Chicago, and it's a pretty. We've only got I think 30 minutes here, so this will be a very long story. So I'm going to really shorten it. But grew up in a working class family. Nobody from my family had ever been to college before. I didn't even know what a university was. Pretty much everybody went to prison or into a factory, and that was the route to the future. Somehow I ran with the guys, but managed to study in the evenings, so nobody knew I was studying, and got myself to college, which was a unique experience, mainly to get away from home. I think that was my main motivation. But at university, I didn't go in there with a career in mind. I had no idea what I was going to do in the future. I was just taking it one step at a time, which has been how I've run my life, basically. I don't really plan very much. Things just happen for me. And went to university, no idea. I went to some of these job fairs, and there was one booth that actually had a bar. I thought, well, I go and see those guys. They look interesting. And they're from the tech industry, and they weren't even out brochures. They're giving out beers. And I thought, well, those are my guys. So I went to meet those guys and explain what the tech industry was. This was actually back in 1981. And I joined a company called Burroughs Machines that later became Unisys. And they were actually number 2 in the world at the time behind IBM. So I joined these guys, probably through extensive sales training, which doesn't happen anymore. You had a whole year in sales school where you actually you spent two weeks in school, 2 weeks on territory, back to school. Every 2 weeks, some guys were cut. Started with 100, young graduates, and they eventually cut to 10 guys, and then you passed out, went into your territory, and started your career. So that's how I got into the tech industry. So it was really by seeing some guys at a bar as I got there. But that then morphed into me getting pretty successful at selling tech. But even at that stage, I was selling to manufacturing distribution businesses. So I've been selling over 40 years now into that space in the industrial parts of the Midlands in England, in a town called Birmingham, which was that's where I cut my teeth in those early years. Eventually, that company I was with, we actually did a management buyout of our software division. And I then got into selling ERP systems, which took me, even deeper into the world of manufacturing distribution. And so I had a couple of gigs there. I was VP of sales, did pretty well. But I always felt I needed to run my own show. In the same way you have, Alex. You felt I was not a corporate guy. So I saw an opportunity. This was back in 1997 to develop an application that helped sales reps. I was really helping finance guys, operational guys. But all reps got was a big fat computer printout of all of their sales, and then they had to go through this with a highlight pen. Who's bought fasteners, not bought tools. They had to do that the hard way. And most reps didn't do it. They just went and talked about sports and the weather. And this is before we had mobile phones or any of that stuff. So I developed an application that would actually take a salesperson's sales, and we used to pass it through packets down to the sales rep on their laptop. It was pretty clunky, but it sold really well. And this business grew very quickly. A company called Vector, and we got to a point where we were going to do an IPO. We were doing that well in 2002. 2002. And then we were about to put this deal away. I was going to be, a zillionaire at the time, so I was pretty excited. But guess what happened in 2002? The whole market crashed. WorldCom went down, Enron went down, and we pulled the IPO and ended up having a bad experience with some venture capital guys. And it's a long story short. But actually, out of the back of that, eventually losing that business and having to get involved in an exit, he invented Salesi. So we actually saw that two things were happening. The software as a service industry was evolving. Mobile was on the horizon. You could see mobile technology coming out. So I took that original concept of getting data to reps and then actually made a SaaS product out of that, which became Salesi. And that was a total startup. Myself and my partner, Paul Black, we started that on our credit cards. We literally bootstrapped the whole thing from scratch. We managed to get our programming guys on board and bum some office space and just built the company. But again, we did well. But I took a decision very early on, actually in year 2 of our business, that the biggest opportunity for us was going to be in North America. So I started coming over here and started doing a few deals, going to a few conferences, and we were getting a very warm reception in the US market. And I ended up selling a very large transaction, and the customer said, "You can't be a Viking raider. You can't just come in here, do some damage, and go back home again. You've got to put down roots. And if you do that, we'll help you." So biggest sales job of my life was persuading my wife to sell the house. Kids were at college. And start everything, all the furniture on eBay, get on a plane with 2 suitcases and land in Evanston, Illinois, and rented an apartment with me and a phone. So I did the selling, I did the support, I did the help desk, I did the training. Sound familiar? Yeah, did everything on in the first few months of the business, and then we started to do a lot of business over here and build some real traction. But actually, that move was fundamental. Getting into the territory, proving that we were invested, we weren't just coming in, grab and go, and then we started to hire a US team. And so initially I didn't know how long it was going to take. It was going to be a 2-3 year gig. So I'm now here 14 years later this August. And,
that's one thing I've learned. It always takes long.
Yeah. So, and also, it is, you can't really plan these things. They have to evolve over time. So we built an international business, and we started to get a very substantial client base, including a lot of enterprise clients too. People with thousands of sales reps. So our market, is still manufacturing distribution. We tend to look at it as different sub-verticals. And so maybe you do, Alex, into industrial, HVAC, electrical, janitorial, office supplies. So we have specialists in each vertical, and I built very strong partnerships and relationships in each of those verticals on a global scale. But we started to definitely see the distribution market evolving their requirements as well. And because the markets were getting tougher and tougher, selling to existing customers was primarily what Salesi did. With some light CRM, we were finding customers were saying, "I need to do a more sophisticated CRM here. I need to do lead nurturing. I need to do workflow. I want to do pipeline management. I want to do marketing automation." So we started to come across this more and more in the market for our customers and for new customers, new prospects. Simultaneously, we were starting to see a few of our customers looking at these products, like Salesforces and Sugars and Microsoft Dynamics and HubSpot. So we ended up striking
I'm going to stop you there. We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that one.
Yeah. So
I think these podcasts are always great because you get to learn something about someone you didn't know. I've known you for 13 years, and there's 2 things that I think are super interesting. 1, you got into tech because of a friend at a bar. And then 2, obviously you come from a family. I knew the story about Vector and that whole experience, and your story is awesome. But the whole family, not going to college and things like that. And so what you probably don't know is before I took a job with you at Salesi, I was in commercial real estate. You probably remember that. I was out at a bar, and a buddy's like, "Would you ever think about tech?" And I was like, "No." And then I got so out at a bar, we both said, "You know what? I think tech's the right lifestyle for us." So.
Oh yeah. And I did a little bit of programming when I was at college as well. And I really sucked at it. My programs never worked. This was like back in the days of the punch cards and the big tapes and stuff. And my smarter friends were actually, their programs would work. Mine never worked. So I suppose I ended up I couldn't write tech, but I could sell it. So that became my route to market. And I can imagine I may have made more money over the years than the guys that could write the code. But there you go. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I know your wife Pip. And I mean, how hard was it to get her to come over to the States to make that jump?
Yeah, because we particularly leaving the kids behind. They were just coming out of college, and often, as we know now, kids come back home again after college. Back in my day, we just left home as fast as we could. But so we basically sold the family home, and but we decided not to. A lot of people do this they do it half cocked, where they keep the home at back base and keep going back again. We literally we did the Viking thing, burnt the bridge, burnt the boats. We burnt it. We're staying here. We're going to make this work no matter what it takes. We can't go home. We got to make this work, and we got to put down roots and make the move. So it was a bit of a sales job. Landing in Chicago was because we did a tour of a couple of cities. We went to Atlanta and Dallas, and and people said, "Oh, well, you're a tech company. Go to California." Well, that's where the tech companies are. That's not where manufacturing distribution is. So we're trying to get close to customers. But we came to Chicago in the spring, and you live here too. Chicago's beautiful in the spring.
You can fall in love with it quick in the spring and summer. Yeah, it's easy.
I sold it then, but in the winter, that was the year of first year was that Snowmageddon year when Lakeshore Drive was like closed. There were like 4 feet of snow, and so that was our first experience of the real Chicago winter. Yeah, so that was that would be a harder sales job if I come over in the winter. But I mean, fantastic support I've had from my family to do this, and it was a big decision. And when you're building a business, you've got to make tough decisions. And if you go for the comfort zone, easy route, you don't get there. You have to occasionally thaw your arm off to go forward, and that's what we did.
Well, I think it's been a decision that paid out. It may have taken you a bit of time, right? You thought you'd be in the business 3-4 years, or over here 3-4 years. You were here quite a bit longer. But the recent news, I'm not going to break it. I'll let you break it. But super exciting times, and congratulations. So why don't you let everyone know?
Yeah. So we ended up very recently. This is, I think, we're now 37 days into the deal. We ended up being acquired by a major player in the CRM space, Sugar CRM, and so we're now fully owned by Sugar. Sugar sales is now a Sugar CRM company. So that's been very exciting. That's given us a lot of opportunity to expand, globally, into major organizations. It's a very exciting opportunity for our team. But we took this pretty slowly. We embraced a partnership first. We went together as partners, so we got to know each other, got to know the teams, synergy, started building trust at every level of the organization, from technical to sales through marketing, and therefore the acquisition became a much easier step because we'd already basically lived together for over a year and been very successful as partners. Been an interesting experience, and Alex, you'll relate to this. Is I closed the office you and I work together in today in Monroe Street, Chicago. So literally 2 hours ago, I closed the door, said goodbye to the security guard, walked out, got on the train, came home for the last time, which was interesting. Now we're staying downtown. We're moving to a smaller place on Adams. But actually, that building, you and I worked there. We had a great team. We did a lot of business together there, and we built a lot of great stories, some great relationships, and grew some great people. And so it was a bit of a poignant.
A little sentimental today.
I'm Brit, so I don't normally.
I can't put you in that category. I'm not calling you sentimental, Kev. I know you're not.
I must admit, it was interesting, being there, just closing that door for the last time.
Between that and then the building we had in Evanston, that one's gone completely.
Because actually that was the original building. You and I worked together in Evanston, and actually, funny enough, that is now, you're right, that's now floored. Now the building's been knocked down, and but I passed that actually on the train. So I closed the one office, sat on the train, happened to be on that side of the train, looked up, and I saw that building in Evanston. And I could remember it so vividly. So a lot of memories floating around in the old brain here today. But interesting. But very excited about the new beginning here. It's just so exciting. We've now got the muscle. We've got the scale now to really take the company to the next level and really do some great things for the manufacturing distribution sector at a time when I think they really need these type of weapons. We bring in fantastic sales weapons now we can bring to the party.
What do you think in your eyes was the driving factor that they're the right partner for a partnership, or for really the acquisition? The partnership made sense early. Obviously, you had a long long courting period to be able to work together, see each other's operation. What was there a moment, or was it a series of events that kind of was like, you know what, this is the right play for us?
Yeah, I think it was a couple of things. Really, was we saw that sugar were been the first big player to actually make the move to become verticalized. And we've got obviously the big players typically are very generic. They'll sell to a a finance company, a real estate company, a not for profit. They're very horizontal in their approach. But we saw, and I know some people do like the sort of tend verticalization. They sort of drop a landing page.
Put industries on your website and call it a day.
Yeah, vertical. Yeah, you don't really understand the vertical, but we saw sugar doubling down on their vertical, and when we analysed their customer base, there was a very high percentage of manufacturing distribution businesses in there. So we saw that they were really aligned with the market that we're involved in. And funny enough, we then had our customers saying to us, "It was about time you guys got together." I've got a customer actually in Charlotte, you may remember them, FSI, Office Forms and Supply. Who been using Sales Eye and Sugar separately, as silos for over 10 years. And when we told them that we were bringing the two products together and the two companies together, they went, "Well, about time, guys. We agreed, So this is so obvious. It became like, and customers kept saying, "Well, when are you guys going to get together? Because this is just what you've done here in the combo of the two products is absolutely what the market needs."
Yeah.
So it's really that sort of year of partnering, getting everybody telling us that you guys need to get together here, and that they Sugar are an Axel KKR backed company. So obviously they came to us then with a significant offer that was appealing to myself, Paul, my partner, and the shareholders. So we managed to get it over a period of time, and diligence was obviously a longer period. We managed to get a deal done, and here we are now. So we're now over that line, and we're now new chapter. So it's gone from, we've seen that journey take longer, but actually we got there in the end. We actually bootstrapped our business. We didn't raise any venture capital funding. I had a bad experience in that previous gig with Vector, so we didn't raise capital. We bootstrapped Sales Eye. It took longer than we could have raised capital in year 2, year 3 significantly, but we decided it was we would do this bootstrap route, and there's not many
it's really an incredible feat. I mean, I run my own software company. You've ran your own software company, and I bootstrapped for just over a year to get, and it's a cost of running technology and building teams to support technology is so high. Better than anyone else. So the ability to bootstrap a business, take it to exit. I mean, yes, it took you 12 years, 13 years, but incredible to be able to do that. And the number of people that can actually take that journey, it's far and few between. And I think you're right. You've hit on something. We saw over the years, the need for CRM increased, and to have that alongside analytics, where most CRMs can't handle that combination, right? It's you're a CRM or you're an analytics play, and be able to put them together. It's the best of both worlds. What do you think is next with the two together? What's the 1-2? Yes, you can put the two technologies inside of each other, but how do you make 1 + 1 and make it 10?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we're looking at working with a bunch of customers right now, looking at what would be killer play here. You've got both technologies here. We put them together. What do you guys need? And we're certainly seeing people in certain industries, like for example, we do a lot of business with the heavy truck industry, and historically we've only really helped one part of their business, which has been the aftermarket parts sales. That's been the piece where we were adding most value. Now we can provide an enterprise-wide solution where no matter what the seller is doing, if they could be selling a very large capital item, they could be, where in that case the dial is more CRM needed because it's it's a pipeline, it's quotations, you got building the truck, you got the paperwork, all that process, versus more transactional when it's selling aftermarket parts to repeat customers with lighter CRM. So we're now seeing we can actually, if CRM is like a 0 to 10 dial, we can now position a customer, no matter where your organization is, and even more granular, no matter where your seller is in that organization, because that may differ. One tool can now do everything. So we've really got. I know you like analogies, but I'm now seeing this as like having a whole. I'm going to mix two analogies here: a real buffet of sales weapons, that are laid out on a big table here. Now you can't eat a whole buffet on day one. I know you've tried in the past when you're playing football, but you can't. Yeah, you only create your plate. So what we now see really is our ability to create a plate for any customer in manufacturing distribution that's perfect for them today, but to future proof it. No matter what they're going to need, they change their business model or the market changes. They go more towards lead generation. We can just switch on more and more dials, and it's a totally future-proof product. Obviously, injecting a lot of AI into the mix, which is clearly critical right now, and you're in that game too. Is right now, manufacturing distribution is under some stress, a lot of headwinds hitting the market still, and with labour shortages in the sales area, which is the area I'm mainly concerned with in particular. People are running skinny with their sales teams, and we're now really saying that the tools we can develop can really put a salesperson on steroids, and really help them to cover more space, more territory, more customers, be in the right place, right time, having the right conversations. And to really be, that guided selling now is more than just a soundbite. It's a reality that we can actually really give a salesperson, everything they need to be successful.
I also think it's so powerful because you take your automotive, your heavy duty example for in that case. They're sharing customers across whether you're selling the aftermarket parts or you're selling the truck, right? Same as HVAC, you're selling the parts or you're selling a capital, a commercial project. The components that go into that project after the fact, or the parts that go to that truck after, you share customers. And so it didn't make sense to have them in two different systems, but there really wasn't a solution that could to really catch it all.
No, absolutely, yeah. And we've got lots of big customers using Salesforce and other CRMs, and they're just not designed to manage millions of part numbers, transactional lines, be able to deliver that information. Very robust CRM, absolutely, but you're right, that best of both worlds, that combo, for this sector is the answer. But in obviously other industries, it's less important. In financial services, but in manufacturing distribution, you need a robust CRM and you need powerful analytics. Put them together in one tool. You're right. You've got everything you need in one place. We're really excited about that, and the product roadmap we'll be announcing that over the next few months is very exciting. Again, we've got a huge resource now available to us, which we didn't have previously, and the days of sort of being able to have planning a roadmap, out, months, years. We can now do stuff really quickly now, which is really exciting. So watch this space. A lot of new cool stuff coming down the line here, and we're really excited about some of the game. I don't use the word game changer a lot. I'm pretty cool when it comes to the American style, exaggeration. So I'm pretty grounded on this. I mean, mobile, absolutely, this was a game changer for salespeople. No question. I used to carry a bag of coins in my car and find a gas station to phone my customers or phone the office. This really changed the game for a salesperson. I think AI is the next game changer for salespeople, and we're only really at the early stage of that taking off. Fast forward 2 or 3 years, anybody that hasn't got some AI guided selling technology in their business is at a disadvantage, and that's for sure.
So I want to go deeper into the AI piece you mentioned, because I really do think we're at the very beginning. And I just did a webinar. We had about 200 attendees, all in the distribution manufacturing space. Yeah. It was this week. This week's flown by. I was thinking it was last week. But before we get into that, because I think this feeds into it. So I know you and I think about this the same way. As far as when you think about verticals, we're thinking industry segments within distribution manufacturing. Most technologies are thinking, I have financial services, there's tech, then there's distribution manufacturing, and they kind of group it all into this catch-all be-all. So I know historically you operated in a very vertical focused sales go-to-market motion. You built some industry packs that were unique by industry. Do you think does that change at all with this acquisition, or do you think now you can just bring the best of the both world and continue to put that industry focus, the vertical
Yeah,
focus?
it's interesting. Actually, we've one of the things I really liked about working with the team of Sugar is actually they've seen us as the domain experts in the
Mm.
vertical,
Yeah.
and we've actually been educating them about the sub vertical because you're right, they were doing the same thing as the other big players were doing. Okay, we're in manufacturing distribution. Yeah, they used to actually call it just manufacturing. That was all this
And if you're a
manufacturing.
distributor, you're just a manufacturer. It's all the same.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
So
if
yeah, it was
companies do that, this distribution manufacturing is a third of the U.S. economy, and yet
absolutely.
companies put, oh, we'll just pull it all together.
Yeah,
It's incredible.
absolutely, and you know it as well. It's full of large organisations that nobody's ever heard of. Your grandmother doesn't know names of half of our billion-dollar customers,
Yeah.
because they're
Yeah.
B2B. Yeah, they're not household names. So yeah, we've been doing a lot of workshopping where we've been explaining the sub verticals, and some of those sub verticals will need different, like playbooks, because of the nature of the selling and the nature of the markets. So yeah, that's been very refreshing to see that we're now starting to do it. And we've been starting to run some webinars that are unique to sub verticals together, and putting together demo environments that are again designed exclusively for that vertical, so that when the customer or prospect sees the demonstration, it's their world, it's personalized, it's relevant, so they really get it. Because it's actually, when you see a generic CRM demo, sometimes it's hard to get it. As it fit in my world, and if you go to something with a blank sheet and say, which is what a lot of CRM guys do, is they walk in and go, blank sheet, you can do everything. The answer is always yes. What do you want for Christmas? And most people don't know the answer to that question because they don't know what's possible. That's a really tough question for most organizations right now.
I think any organization it is, but I think even more so in distribution manufacturing, a lot of times they need third-party partners to come in and help them with their tech deployments. And that's, I think, one of the things that if you don't put the industry focus on this market, because they need to understand what does the best in class look like. And I mean, you can hand them a blank sheet of paper, but a lot of times these distribution manufacturing companies, they don't have a huge sales operations team to go build out something. They don't have a ton of developers on staff. And so that industry focus, I think, is I mean, I know that's why you were so successful, because you put so much focus in sub verticals within this market.
Absolutely, yeah, and we're going to continue to do that and open up some new verticals that we're not as strong in historically as we have been in the UK market, for example, where we're very strong in drink, for example, in the UK market. And now sugar have got a very big footprint in that market in the US. So we're now bringing Sales Eye into that market more and more over the next couple of years. So that's been really refreshing to see that. You're right, that playbook of personalizing, being relevant, not making your customer do all the work. So you tell me what you want. You've got to guide, you've got to be consultative, you've got to add value, bring ideas. That's always going to make you a more valued partner than just being passive and delivering a solution the customer's asked you for. And sometimes the customer is, they're wrong. The customer's always right, but they're not aware. They don't know what the art of the possible is. And you ask a salesperson, well, what functions do you need? They don't know. They don't have experience often. Often they've been in one industry, because people don't even jump the sub verticals. They've often been with the same company. They haven't had a broad range of experiences. And I think as partners, we need to bring that experience, that DNA to the party, and add value and be genuine about that. That people can ask us, okay, I'm thinking of doing this. What do you think? I'm going to build an insights team. Can you help me with that? I'm able to give them some help and guidance and experiences from other companies you've seen be successful doing it. And that's part of the value we bring. It isn't just the software. It's more. It is the partnership.
Yeah. So you touched on AI, but before that, you brought up, and this was interesting to me. You said one of the biggest challenges facing sales organizations in this market, distribution manufacturing, is labor. And
Absolutely.
that kind of took me by surprise, because what we solve with solving a large challenge for the customer service group is it's so hard to find customer service reps, right? Because it's
Yeah.
primarily transactional in nature. They're processing orders, they're processing returns. So I thought, oh, it's because it's this mundane tasks that these reps have to continuously do. But you're telling me even the field is experiencing labor challenges too.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, when I talk to sales leaders now, what are you working on? What are your challenges right now? Most of them seem to be finding challenges with recruitment. And a couple of companies I work with have actually had some early retirement packages. They're starting to lose some of their more seasoned, tenured sales reps. Then they okay, let's go and recruit some new guys. Okay, where are the new guys? They're not really, as we know historically, not seeing manufacturing distribution as a sexy industry to get
Yeah.
into. And young graduate right now, I'm going to exaggerate to make the point. Wants to be a social media influencer. They don't want to go and sell industrial parts in the back streets of Chicago. So it's a hard, gritty industry, and it's not attractive to necessarily to salespeople. Young salespeople coming into it, it's tough. So I think recruitment, is a challenge, and therefore we've got 20 sales guys covering the typical landscape that 30 would look after. You've got to make the 20 guys you've got more productive. You've got to give them technology, you've got to give them tools, you've got to give them the weapons, you've got to give them the training. It's a bit like the classic Navy SEAL now, isn't it? Rather than having a platoon of salespeople, you've got a Navy SEAL group who are special ops. These guys can do a lot of damage with a small team because they've got the best technology. So the best training and the best skills. So I think we're definitely seeing that as a trend now, which is, can I do more with less salespeople, and can technology help me achieve that? Because that really is the reality. And also, there's a bit of a chicken and egg here, that if you start to give your sales teams the best technology, when you're actually trying to recruit a younger, more tech savvy, digital native salesperson, you can show them what you've got. If I was going for an interview and I'm a 28-year-old sales guy, and I say, well, what sales tools do you give me? What's the CRM to give me? And I give you a set of record cards and a yellow pad and a pen, and go, those are your sales tools. Whereas if you show me, I've got this cool AI stuff and we're doing this and you're going to make a ton of money here, and you sell me on why your firm is the best tooled up firm, and you've got the best stuff that's going to make me successful, it's going to help you recruit people. And also, if you do happen to recruit somebody, you can ramp them much faster than in the past. In the past, it would distributors would take a year to get a salesperson productive. You haven't got that time anymore. So again, if you can give them an AI guided selling experience, we take a rookie rep on. Can we make them productive in 6 weeks rather than 6 months? By just giving them, telling them where to go, what to talk about, history of the customer, these are previous conversations, be able to actually make them smarter, faster, so they can actually be productive. So I think that's a big win as well, where tech is helping in that whole recruitment process. So you're probably seeing the same thing in your world, Alex, which is the customer service reps. You got fewer of them. They've got to do more. You've got to do more work with less.
Yeah. I mean, we see the same thing. It's how do you take the tribal knowledge that lives inside of a couple people's head and future proof that department, candidly, right? Because you can't expect that these people are going to be around forever. And this is a good segue into some of the AI pieces. So, obviously, I think 5 years ago, if you talked about AI in your technology in B2B, you were really probably talking about some advanced algorithms, probably. In today's world, and this is a thing I think many distribution and manufacturing companies are just starting to kind of realize. And I also think the world is moving at a very fast pace, but there's real world applications of AI that they can implement pretty quickly. So when you look at your tech stack and the areas where you're helping, how are you actually implementing AI throughout your technology to drive some of those outcomes you're talking about?
Yeah, that's a good point. And we're seeing, I think there's a phrase now which I've seen a couple of times, which is like AI washing, where everybody claims they've got AI. I saw actually, I did see actually a washing machine ad on TV where they're saying this is an AI washing machine. What the hell, So it's easy for people to put the label on and go, "Oh, I've got AI." Now, as you know, what we did was during the pandemic, we actually tore the house down. We had a traditional classic sales eye product, and we hired a whole new team of data scientists, technicians, and we put them in a room with a bunch of data and said, "Go build a new product. Take this AI technology, go experiment, talk to customers, find out what the art of the possible is." So we built a whole product from the ground up with AI machine learning in mind. We're not just putting a label on saying, "Oh, we've got a bit of AI," which is faking it. So this is inherently built from the foundations of AI and machine learning. But again, I'm not a technician. So, but the way I see it, this is from a commercial viewpoint, is that the AI is that can deliver massive power, and in the same way as when North Korea is testing their nuclear weapon, they're not testing the payload and the power of it. What the real most important piece is the guidance system. So what we're really obsessed with now is actually how do we take this phenomenal capability to actually find information, deliver it really quickly, and how do we get it to a salesperson? So the most exciting piece I'm seeing is the guided selling, which is, for example, using natural language. So a salesperson could just take out their phone on the territory, have done no preparation. Who should I see today? And to be guided by the AI saying, well, go and see Alex. Well, why? Well, he hasn't bought any janitorial supplies for 30 days, and he buys every 30 days. Okay, well, what I'm talking about? Well, chemicals are on special offer. So basically, it's a Siri CarPlay experience where my assistant is helping me. We've used the analogy of being a caddy before. It's just tell me which club to play. Tell me what's sloping. Where the bunkers are. So that guiding using voice and chatbots, good old school stuff like pretty much every salesperson, whether they're 25 or they're 75, will check their emails every day. So they don't log into an application. So let's just push the insights to email. So I wake up in the morning saying, here's 10 customers you've got to go and see today or call today because. So we're trying to pattern break sales guys from doing their traditional milk run, which I think has been so hard baked into the distribution manufacturing sector for so long, which is I go and see Alex every Friday at 3:00 and we talk about fishing and the weather, and then he might buy something. Whereas actually, let's prioritize selling. Who should we go and see now? Who should I call now? And why? And what do I talk about? What's my purpose? What's my problem? What am I trying to fix? So I think that's a real dream here. Is actually the robot can actually find anything and tell me anything I need to know. I can now spend my time focusing on my message. Okay, how am I going to deliver this to Alex? How am I going to pitch this? How am I going to present this? I could actually then say, okay, well, give me the presentation, and it's going to give me the sales play. Give me the brochure. It's going to give me the brochure. So really, it is that.
Do you deal with any, whether it's field reps or leaders who are concerned? They said, "Well, you're going to replace so and so's job." Does that happen in your world?
I think there's some nervousness, and we're always very careful to talk about this. Has been Tiger Woods isn't concerned. I'm probably aging myself if I'm talking about Tiger Woods. So Tiger Woods is not concerned that his caddy's going to take over his life, is it? Or start winning the trophies. So, so he's understanding the role of the AI. So it is an assistant, it is my caddy, it is my helper. It's not replacing me. I'm still front and center. I'm still the hero. This is my pit crew. This is sort of supporting me. So long as we see it in that context. Now, yes, some roles, clearly probably more threatened by this than others. And if there's things that can be replaced by technology, but I think the ability of of a buyer and a seller to get together and craft something, create that magic, still needs a human. in the loop. But if I'm well informed, I'm going to be more successful. So yeah, I think people are nervous. So we're definitely being very careful with our messaging that this isn't replacing you. And I saw actually an ad for, I can't remember what the product was now, and it was pretty straightforward. It said, AI will take your job, and that was like the big bold. But the punchline was to the next level.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way you got to see it. You got to see it as that. This is actually progress. I used to have a bag of coins, then I got one of these. It's progress. I
Yeah.
used to do analysis the hard way. Now I just say, tell me what I need to know.
I do find that and I don't know if you see this too, but I do find that inherently the industry of distribution manufacturing, whether it's reps, CSRs, individuals, there's an inherent reluctantness to rely on technology because they're like, well, that's what I should do. But with the reps, the CSRs who say, I don't want to do that task because I could be doing this, which is so much higher level in my job role. And and I can focus at a higher level. I can have a better conversation and rely on the technology. Are you seeing that mindset shift much?
It's almost still there to a level, but when the Aberdeen Group did that analysis, that was it. Reps typically in manufacturing distribution spend 43 hours a week doing admin stuff or analysing things themselves, or which could be absolutely not all of it, but a very high proportion that could be replaced. So that's a lot of selling time that could be redeployed now.
So 43 hours a month.
A month is I said a week.
43 hours a month.
Yeah. Which is not
one out of every month. 1 week out of every month is
doing admin stuff. Yeah. So if we can eradicate a ton of that chore, which most sales guys aren't pretty good at anyway. They're not data analysts, and they hate filling in CRM reports, which again you can just do so easily now with some of the AI stuff. So I think but there's still a bit of a traditional view here, and we will still speak to people who go, well, my rep should know it, or the customer stops buying. Well, okay, they've got hundreds of customers, thousands of products. How are you going to know that? It's they're not mind readers. So I think there is but the industry generally, particularly when it's under pressure, right now it is under pressure. You see people reacting two ways: either rolling the ball, and hope it's all going to get better soon. But others will zig when other people are zagging, and actually will make investments. We launched Sales Eye in 2008, during the great recession at the time, and did really well because I think it was almost like counter-recessionary. Okay, I'm in real trouble right now. I'm now going to buy technology. We've had customers in, for example, the building materials industry that have had great years for through the pandemic, 5 or 6 years of great growth. Orders were flowing in, didn't need to do much selling. Now contacting us going, that sales stuff that you told me about, 5 years ago, I think I need some of that now because it's getting tough out here. So I think the tougher it gets, a bit of cold wind comes in, into the room, then you think, okay, I need to do something here. So I think, is it too late? Yes, as long as you can deploy quickly, which is part of this. The secret is how quickly you can deploy technology, so you don't miss the opportunity. But right now people need to. Things aren't going to get better on their own. You've got to make investments. You've got to create your own economy, and be in control of your own destiny. Don't rely on there's an election coming. Don't rely on let's see what the election does. Act now. So we're definitely seeing industries that have done very well, finding it hard, who are now starting to talk to us again. Whereas in the past, they say, we don't need you. We're doing great.
Yeah.
So I shouldn't wish bad sales on people, but it's sometimes it's reality check.
Sometimes bad sales lead to them not understanding they need to do something, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and we all know that most distribution markets are in cycles.
Yeah,
and you got to. The good times don't go on forever. The sun doesn't always shine. The rain does come, and it's an old cliche, but you got to buy your umbrella when the sun's shining. You don't wait till it starts raining. So So, yeah, we're definitely seeing people, reluctantly, because making investments in tech. People would invest. I mean, I always think that, particularly in the sales world, the sales is always a bit of a Cinderella. I go to see customers with phenomenal tech in their warehouses. They've got the robotic warehouse, and they've got all sorts of great tech. They'll invest in finance systems. They'll put a new warehouse management system in. They'll make those investments. But you say you invest in your sales team. Ooh, that always seems to be down the pecking order. That is the Cinderella. But at some point, Cinderella's got to go to the ball. We've got to give our sales guys the tech to make them successful, because that's where business value drives from. We can't have a sales guys using 20, 30-year-old techniques in a market that is fundamentally different.
The market is fundamentally different right now. Every customer that I talk to, even the ones that are doing relatively well, are saying it's harder than it's been the last 5-10 years. It's harder. Even if we're doing well, it's harder. But what's interesting is, and I had a post about this the other day, you can talk to two identical customers in the same exact market, experiencing the exact same thing, but the way they react to it is different. They say, you know how we're going to get out of this? We're going to invest out of this, or we are going to rethink about this department, this function. And I think that's just the irony of this market in how the same company in the same exact situation reacts so differently.
I've seen that. You're so right there, Alex. Spot on. It's almost like having two identical twins, and one of them's got a totally different personality. And you think they're going to be the same, but they're not. One's an introvert, one's an extrovert, and they're so different, and they act in a different way to the same scenarios. And it is the tale of two cities, isn't it? The best of times and the worst of times. Now, some people are seeing this as an opportunity. My competitors are rolled in a ball. They're not invest. I'm going to invest. They actually go for it.
Take market share.
Yeah, they're going to be the winners. Yeah, I'm going to take those guys out. I'm going to. We're seeing aggressive M&A going on in manufacturing distribution. Companies are trying to finding it tough. I'm going to get out of this. Whereas some guys are going in, raising more funds to go and buy companies, and they're buying tech. They're getting themselves ready. They're getting themselves battle ready. So I think, you're right. I mean, that's a really good observation. That it's hard to pick who's going to be the one that's going to go. Who's going to take the left fork or the right fork, because they look the same.
And this is the unfortunate part that I see is I see private equity backed distribution companies are saying we're thinking 5 years down the road, and I'm seeing the family owned more frequently. It's not always, but I'm seeing the family owned say we've been doing it this way for a while, and times aren't good now, so we're going to wait. And it's unfortunate. I don't like to see it. I don't like to see it because it means that who's going to be around in 5 years is, I think we're going to see a lot of the family owned go away if they don't step up and start investing in a different way.
Yeah, and you're right. And I feel the same frustration as, I've got a great affection for the owner managed, family independent, and, always there fighting against the big box and all that stuff. And they've been through the battles over multi-generational battles, and they're still around. And, there's some huge risk here if they don't get themselves ready. Because you're right, the big guys are getting smarter, cleverer, bigger. They've got the funding, and but technology can help. Can help them. Could also, ironically, build value for them as well. Because if you make the investments in technology, most private equity companies are buying will actually place a higher valuation on somebody that's actually well organized, got good CRM tools, got good record keeping, got good sales methodologies. That adds value, and actually, if you want to sell the business, it makes you more attractive. So I think there's no reason not to do it, apart from inertia and tradition, and those two sentiments right now, are a high risk. If you're not going to, if you're going to stay in the past, you are going to get left behind. And I know that people have heard this many times before, but this feels different this time. I've been around in this industry 43 years. I've seen a lot of change. This is different, and that's one of the reasons we've done the sugar thing, because we needed the muscle right now, and the scale and the global reach to be able to go, to be able to, to be in this moment. I could go and raise a bunch of money right now, but it would take me 2-3 years to build a company to a scale where we could have been ready. I'm feeling that the market is really about to do something amazing right now, and people are going to start investing.
It's a unique time. I really do. So there's so many different things that so you look at Home Depot and their acquisition of SRS Distribution, right? Home Depot is now a B2B company. More of their revenue comes from B2B than it does in the consumer side. So you look at the amount of private equity companies looking at these industries, and you bring up a fantastic point about, look, if you're a family-owned company and you're saying, okay, maybe I don't have much longer. Maybe there's 5 years left.
Yeah.
That's all the more reason to be investing in cutting edge technology, because there's a stat that was super interesting. Right? Every dollar of profit they drop to the bottom line today is 4x when they go to sell.
Yep. You only get to sell once. I've just been through that, so you get one chance to make the sale. So,
you know this better than you're the most qualified for this. Yes,
and again, another analogy here. I mean, it's a little bit like the when you're selling your house, you have to stage it. And you have to make your company look, in the same way, make your house look good for the buyer, and you got to get everything clean and in order, and you got to get your lawn mowed, and you've got to paint the deck and all that stuff. Businesses have to do those things. They have to put their house in order if they want to be able to sell it at a premium price. You can get a low ball price and just get out of here. But those family firms, sometimes the next generation don't want to take the firm over. Want to be a dentist. I don't want to sell office supplies. So no, Dad, I don't want to do this. Let me go. So some of the kids don't want to do it. And those businesses, those assets, need to be sold to create generational wealth for the family at a premium. And it's not that hard to do it. There's tech players around that can help you get into tech quickly, easily. They've got the experience. They're not really, guinea pigs. They've done it 1,000 times before. Just find partners that you can trust and let them help you get to the next level. I think there's a factor that they haven't got the internal expertise to do it themselves, and they therefore feel like naive buyers. Overcome that fear, find some people you trust, and much as I was saying, people buy products, well, they don't. They still buy people. They're going to find some guys you can work with, and you can always pick the phone up to and. Ask. And don't be afraid to ask a dumb question. Just say, "Well, how do I do this stuff?" Well, don't worry, we know how to do this. Just let us do it for you. So it's interesting. I agree. Interesting times, and that's one of the reasons I've been in this industry 43 years. I think the next 5 years could be really exciting. And it feels like a bit like when I was back in 2002. This time, hopefully, without the big crash. That we can. We see a lot of, I think a lot of really cool tech like yours coming to the market. Where, again, sort of when I first started selling, we'd sell one big computer system that did everything for a company. Then it started to departmentalize a bit more. So we would just do sales, operations, finance. I'm now seeing it becoming like micro applications that fix, like you're fixing the return problem, but doing it incredibly well, and actually really doubling down on that one business issue. So I think there's a whole bunch of very cool tech right now that plays nice with each other, which is good too, because in the past, there's a lot of silos deliberately built by tech manufacturers to create isolation and protect their barriers. But now there's some phenomenal cool tech. So we've gone from the big picture. Now we're in micro tech that actually delivers phenomenal value. Domain experts in their field. Those are the people that can help organizations.
Those are the partners that can help you and help you quick.
Yeah, right? Absolutely quick. Yeah, because they're not having to walk in and go, well, tell me all about returns. Then well, how do you do it? Well, about returns. So if I go to, I need to go to a heart surgeon. I don't want a guy, flipping through his, through the internet, googling, heart. I want to talk to an expert. Somebody actually knows their stuff. And
it can probably help you implement a better process. I mean, I can only imagine you step into a company and the output of that is they have a better ran sales process than they do today, right? Just like we step into an organization and they're going to have a much better returns process, right? Rather than saying, tell me what you're doing today, let's automate it. So automating a
Yeah.
bad process faster isn't really optimizing. So
No, absolutely,
that's
yeah. No, it's back to that added value, isn't it? It's I'm not, I don't need you to tell me, well, what do you want? I'm going to tell you what you need,
yeah,
and then we have a dialogue. You tell me, okay, which bits of this are most important to you? What you're prioritizing? I'm not going to come to you with that blank sheet going, what do you want? Because I already know. I'm already an expert. So I think that's critical now, and I think people, increasingly, I'm going to see that trend now of very exciting, startups like yours now developing a unique application that delivers massive ROI really quickly for organizations, versus it's buried as part of a Swiss Army knife of other tools. It's actually fixing specific problems really quickly and really well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Kevin, what's next for Kevin McGirl? Not sales eye. What's next for Kevin McGirl?
Yeah. Well, this is interesting because actually it's been a really interesting week for me because I've closed an office and but also had a my first grandchild this week. So that was a big deal. So, yeah, I know I'm not old enough to have a grandchild, but yeah, I'm had my first grandchild this week. So and I know I'm biased, but he looks beautiful. He's great. Beautiful picture. We're getting like hourly pictures from my daughter back in England.
I love it.
So yeah, we're having persuaded Pip to come over here 14 years ago. I've now got I'm now getting sold to about going back home now. So so
I
yeah,
think it's time, Kev. I think she's done news.
I don't think we've done the time here. Yeah, so I think so key now is to do that elegantly. Last time we did this in a real let's just sell the house, is now to plan a orderly return back to UK. So yeah, I'm really excited about seeing how far we can go with this new sugar venture. But yeah, but longer term, I've really enjoyed just talking to you about your business, Alex. Just because I love startups. Even though, and I always wake up every morning I'm trying to think like I'm a startup guy still, even though I've been in the game for a long time. So yeah, I really enjoy the tech industry. I think it's at a really exciting point. I don't want to miss out on this. I don't want to go and I don't play golf, so I don't want to go to play golf all day. So, no. So I've still got the energy, still got the enthusiasm for the industry and helping my customers to adopt technology and be successful. So I hope to continue to do that. But actually, from a personal point of view, I may be doing that from a different continent in the next couple of years. So I might eventually say goodbye to Chicago and be back to the UK. So that's
Grandpa Kevin to the UK, and I know one thing is you will always have your hand in something. You have too much energy, you have too much passion to hang up the cleats for good. I know.
That's not. Yeah, that would. I've seen some guys, friends who have retired from pretty high intense jobs, and then they lose their purpose, and actually they end up watching TV all day and having coffee. Yeah, so I think
hang out with the old people home.
Absolutely, yeah. So that's one thing I love the tech industry is I'm the grandfather of actually in my team. I work mainly with 25-year-olds, so I really enjoy that. Keeps you young. I can't drink at the same level as those guys anymore, but
you slowed down a bit there.
But so I know when to go home now. But no, I still enjoy the energy, the passion of the industry, and I'm seeing an innovation, inventing new stuff, new markets. So I'm still passionate about that stuff, and I think that hopefully helps with positive aging. I want to make sure I have a very positive experience as I move into the next chapter of my life. But but thanks for asking, Alex. Yeah, so
hey, there's a whole back nine for you, so we wanted to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what's this space? I'm sure there's going to be some interesting. Because you're right, I don't plan a lot. Because I haven't really got a plan. But I know something will happen. I actually know that.
I know it will too.
Because it always does. Yeah. So, so just, you got to get out there, just keep swinging, stuff will happen, and just keep your eyes and ears open, because some people walk past opportunity. Yeah. I'm always, always be curious, always be looking, fast fail things that don't work. Yeah. So, but you're right. I'm not. But any competitors out there listening, I ain't going away. So I'm still here. I've still got the energy. So
Love it. All right, so I got two rapid fire questions for you. One, what's the furthest you've run? I know you're a big runner. What's the furthest you've run this year so far? 7 months in.
7 months into this year. Okay, so I've done well. I'm going to sort of tell you something you don't know, actually, which is so yeah, I've pretty much given up the marathons now. I used to do a lot of marathons, and did the big ones like Boston, and which was a great event. But so my knees are starting to go a little bit now. I hate to admit it, but they are. So I've been cutting back a little bit. So I still do 10 miles with my running buddies.
You still do 10 miles, nothing major.
Every Saturday we do 10 miles, social run, go for a coffee. But I've got a new sporting passion now, which is during my rehab on my knees, I took up the Concept-2 indoor rower. And what I didn't realize was this is a globally competitive sport, and I love competition. So I started to get into training on the Concept-2 rower, and started to put in some decent times. And this thing's age graded, so every 5 years also weight graded. I'm a lightweight, so I'm now competing actively in that sport.
Virtually.
And there are some events, world championships and some events around the world. But it's a massive sport, thousands of people doing it. And
so it's like Peloton. It's like Peloton, but on a rowing machine.
A rowing machine, yeah. And I've because I want to be good at it, I've actually hired current a multi-world record holder now to be my coach. So he's coaching me.
There's no way you're going to do anything and just do it leisurely. You're going all in to win.
I'm going all in. So I've really gone for this really big style. And actually, to reverse the running question, I've actually just a couple of weeks ago did a half marathon, 13.1 miles on a rowing machine, and in one hit. And I actually broke the British record for my age group doing that. So, yes, this is so
incredible.
Yeah, so but this whole thing is pretty competitive. There's like sprint races, there's endurance races, because obviously my background is more endurance.
Yeah.
So I'm actually now adapting the same mindset, which is the ability to pace for a long period, which helped me through business as well. So I can run a marathon or half marathon. I'm now learning to do the same thing on a rowing machine without the scenery, so it's a little bit more boring. But actually, the mindset to be able to lock in and actually grind out, this was an hour and 28 minutes, to be able to grind that out, at a constant pace, and deal with it and be comfortable with being uncomfortable, which is very much part of the endurance mindset. To actually find some, I don't want to say pleasure in that, but actually be able to endure that, So I'm now sort of, as my running is more social and less competitive, I've now found a new competition. So I'm now competing with a bunch of other very fit guys from all over the world who are, obsessed by getting faster on a rowing machine, which is interesting.
Yeah,
so that's some news for you there.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love it. That is, it doesn't shock me either. All right, last one. What's the most recent book you've read?
Yeah, well, actually, I'm reading a book at the moment, which is nothing to do with the tech industry. In fact, Pip, my wife, is always telling me you should read some fiction occasionally. Which I know you probably should.
To help me get better, right? Yeah.
What's the point? So I typically read autobiographies, or I read business books, or whatever. I'm reading a book at the moment, actually, which I've got here, which is it's called Unreasonable Hospitality. And it's a book by it's a restaurateur. It's a guy, Will Gardara, who's a New York restaurateur who has won a number of Michelin stars and built top class restaurants. And the whole philosophy here, and it's actually a really good general business book, is about audacious, outrageous over delivery. which is the customer has an expectation of an experience with you. Smash that. Go way above that. No matter everything you do, in the way you lay out the restaurant, in the food, the service, just do something that's just so unexpected, because that then creates that wow factor, creates that great loyalty, and also they tell everybody. People they start to tell their friends about this great experience. So he has this whole philosophy, and he trains his whole team to think like that, empowers his team to be able to give a free bottle of wine or some help, to actually be able to, without having to get permission through multiple layers, which is, kills that moment. So empowers every employee to be able to over-deliver, to be unreasonable in their hospitality. So that's a really interesting book. So I think in our world and tech world, it could be, that the customer buys your technology, you deliver it, then you give them an additional module for free, or you give them some additional training or some additional coaching, which they weren't expecting.
So counterproductive, counterintuitive, right?
Counterintuitive, yeah. That's what he's saying. Is this impacts margin, but actually has a multiplier effect on goodwill. So it's actually it's an interesting philosophy. But what you don't do is you don't negotiate it. Like we often make concessions. I'll give you that free module, that free training in negotiation. You don't do that, because that's not the same impact. That's part of a deal. This is actually over delivery, over expectation. Interesting book. I mean, it's not a one of the big the big sort of typical tech industry stories, or I also do read a lot of sporting endeavor about people have achieved amazing sporting events and amazing achievements. I've read actually one about a guy who was a prisoner. He was a bank robber who went to prison, and he took up the rowing machine actually in prison. And again, he was used it to actually get through that experience, and then became a champion, then became an ultramarathoner, triathlete, and got sponsored. So it's some great. I would like those great stories. People who've overcome adversity and got through it, often using a distraction like sport to do it. Which is I know I found out. I know you find that valuable. That when the stress of business is, I still work out every morning at 5:30. Get up every morning. Alarm goes off. Some mornings, do I fancy it? Of course not. But I'll still smash out an hour every morning in a working. Yeah, and you've got to do it. That's how you get through.
Well, I think through books, right, you can learn so much about things that other people have failed at or tried so much and found this little key to success. You can learn from that. And then when it comes to workouts, I tell the team this is like, I come up with some of my best ideas. Like we're in a big blitz for 72-hour deployments with our clients. And I came up with that in the middle of a workout. Right. So I think those two things together, they seem like things you have to do or you must do, but there's so much value in both those two things, right? What you do to keep yourself fit and active, and how you learn from other people.
Yeah, and just a warning: as you get older, you've got to work harder. Because the recovery time, obviously your body is decline. You got to accept it. There is some decline, so you've got to put more work in. So I'm actually working out harder now than I had to do 10 years ago. To even stay at a respectable level. So, as soon as you stop, and then I always I like to see my teams. We know that in the past we've been very competitive, but we'd always ask people at interviews, well, what do you? Okay, that's great, but what do you do? I remember actually talking to a guy from New Zealand on that note, and he said, what do you do? And I said, I'm a software guy. I said, no, what do you do? And what do you mean? What do we do? Do you ski? Do you run? Do you hike? Do you bike? Do you surf? And we so often in the sort of North American business culture define ourselves by a job title or a profession. I'm a lawyer. I'm a doctor. I'm here. Whereas actually in the more relaxed New Zealand lifestyle, it was, well, what do you do? Your job is actually just for paying the bills and feeding yourself. What's your passion? What do you really do? So I thought that's really interesting. I'm lucky enough. I've got I've got the ability to do both. I work, but I also play hard, and I want to continue to do that and remain competitive in both business and in sports. And you're right, they are aligned, they are parallel, they cross over, and but endurance sport does teach you that long game, to be able to actually to realise this is not a series of sprints. It's actually it is a marathon.
It's a long marathon.
A long marathon, and be able to pace it and have enough left at the end, so you can still finish the job. So, but that's.
I think you have just about mastered the marathon. You, congratulations on your exit to sugar. I know one ending is another beginning for you, so you have another chapter starting in a lot of different ways. And being a grandfather and starting, a new chapter for Salesi with a lot more backing and a lot more firepower behind it with sugar. This was awesome. It felt like talking to this didn't feel like a podcast. It's always so good to catch up with you. And so how can people find you?
Yeah, so the best way to find me, is check me out on LinkedIn. Drop me an email. So it's Kevin.McGirl. Now it's sugarcrm.com. But just grab me on LinkedIn. Connect if anybody's interested in talking about sports, business, sales, tech stuff. Please connect. I'm always keen to share ideas and hear what people are up to. Remain curious. That's definitely part of my mindset. So, but Alex, great. Thanks for inviting me to join your first the inaugural. I'm sure we've learned some. You've learned some things about. We've probably got way over time here as well. So,
whatever. Hey, guess what? I run this show, so I can let it go.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to get all the shots of that. But Alex, great to catch up. Love to the family. Have a great weekend, and I'll be in touch. Speak to you soon.
Kev, great seeing you.
Yeah. Cheers.